Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
And after all this time, we finally made it to a whole new frontier. So many times, so many struggles, so much climbing, and here we are. We finally made it to year's end.
Actually, that's a little dark. Let's get into this, because welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
How's it going, J360 Legion? Welcome to the J-Man Show. This is your host, J-Man, of course, a.k.a. J.M. Brady, a.k.a. Capital J, a.k.a. the man of the hour, the man with the power. Me. So how's it going, y'all? It's only been a week, I think, since we last spoken to each other, and here we are finally at the summit. It's coming to an end. 2019 is going to be shooing out. And it doesn't have any squatters, right? So we can happily throw it where it needs to be. I'm telling you, man. I'm glad to have been healthy enough and fortunate enough to see this to this point. Because, you know, with the way things are going and how people are just acting really, really stupid nowadays, it's enough to either prematurely put you in the grave due to stress or to go ahead and annoy the living hell out of you because you just want to leave people to themselves and never get involved with anything. I think that's kind of the gist of how things have been for me for a while because, you know, at first people seem to be as nice and as considerate as anything, but then for a while you sit there and you get to see that real personality come out. You know how like some people start to flip-flop and change on you when you hang out with them one night? Like after, like, say, like, you know, you giving them drinks or giving them free food and stuff like that. Like, yeah, when you go on a date and stuff like that. Then you start seeing some things that you know, like, yeah, this totally isn't going to work out. Man. I don't know what happened when people got so really, really stupid or screwed up in the head. But then again, I can also think that if you look back at this decade, that's kind of the way people have been. If things don't go their way, stuff just caves right in. 2010s to now. Like, not only are we saying goodbye to 2019, we're saying goodbye to a whole decade. And as a matter of fact, 2020 is supposed to be a leap year. Like every major holiday or something like that is supposed to be hitting on Friday due to, I think, February 29th coming into play. Which is pretty exciting to say the least because, you know, since I got the whole new schedule that's going on right now and I'm doing what I got to do at the earliest shifts, I actually can enjoy some of the times off at night, which is cool. So, you know, like I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, I guess I'm just going to have to party it up and turn out, man. Which isn't a problem. I don't mind throwing parties. I don't mind being at parties, you know, and I plan to go ahead and do a lot more of that this year than I did in 2019. If anything, 2019 was more of a bust your ass kind of year moment for the J-Man because, I had those courses to take care of, and I'm on my way out of my degree program the right way, not a whole dropout session and say, no, I can make it on my own. I don't need no college degree. Forget college. Shoot, matter of fact, I'm unlearning everything I learned at college right now, except for the bill because it just won't let me go. And isn't that something? Like how you gotta go into debt just to improve your life because you don't want to work at a retail job forever and stuff. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for those that do work there. I mean, it's just that, after so many years of doing it, it's just not for me, man. And I don't want to be hanging out the rest of my life sitting there just saying, it'll get better. The managers will respect me. The team leads will look at me as somebody they can count on. Maybe just like what my mom used to say when I was a kid. Jay, just be there as the person they can lean on. Just say, hey, lean on me. I remember that crap too, man. I remember it like it was yesterday. Now, you see, sometimes it's amazing that on this series, I give you guys advice from time to time, but it's amazing that I cannot stand the advice from other people, especially those in my family. Like, I love them to death, but the thing is, if it's something that you already know about, why does somebody else feel like they're obligated to go ahead and just try to drill this stuff to you? Like, it is your destiny to be there? Well, you know damn well, and I'm going to tell you about Destiny. Destiny is amazing because the most we know about it is either that video game series or because of what everybody in Star Wars, the original trilogy anyway, used to say all the time. But when it gets right down to it, my destiny is to tell you to go screw yourself and stop bothering me with your stupid rhetoric because, see, what may have worked for you does not work for me, And even to this day, that me and my mother, we argue about these kind of things because she'll go ahead, she'll tell me some stuff that worked for her, and I'm going to say questionably, but it doesn't work for me. Because when you know that you're in a real, I'm trying not to cuss, a real stupid situation, a stinky stupid situation, I should say, the thing is that you're going to do what you can to get out of it. You're going to do what you can to gather all your resources, start working your way to the top, climb up out of the scaffolding there. And because if people find that they can get you to do stuff and you're still in that, crap situation, they're going to do what they can to try to take advantage of it. They're going to do what they can to try to keep you there. Oh, because I remember that with my would-be supervisor. He tried to say, oh, well, we got to see where you stand at before we give you a new shift change or whatever. I got to take a look at it. There's nothing in the policy that had anything about holding me back. But that fool was ready to hold me back, in addition to giving somebody else the job. So I fought tooth and nail to go ahead and get that stuff from him. Which is why 2019 has been, the year of, if anything, kind of hard knocks sometimes. Because people nowadays, they want to try to take stuff from you. They want to try to do what they can to shake up any sort of success you had. And I got to see all of that, man. If anything, this was a pretty good growth year. Now, you got some people out there, they'll sit and give you their sob story. But me, it's not really a sob story. It's just a sign of what I've always known, which is human nature. Like, if you're getting along in a certain way, people nowadays, they have a problem. They have a jealousy. They have a trigger, because we all do. They have a trigger to go ahead and look at that and say, oh, I don't want that person to be on my team. I don't want that person to be my competition. I don't want any of that stuff. But at the same time, your real competition is yourself. I mean, if you look at where you want to be, you got to really think about yourself and how you want to develop and where you're going. And as you do that, why does everybody have to make it seem like the goals and stuff that you set for yourself have to be public knowledge? Does social media really need to know that you want to lose weight? Does social media really want to know that, hey, you plan to have a new home and such by this time? Which, by the way, I don't understand. I never understood the reason why people would want to have their location sent out unless it's in an emergency session. Like, some people will show that they've checked in here and all that stuff. I mean, in practice, it is an interesting take. But on another spectrum, you just pretty much gave the people that, you didn't want knowing where you were going to be at the keys to finding your behind, which is something I've always had annoyances with. Now, they'll go ahead and, nowadays, certain apps can't function without the location on there, so you got to turn it on, and just like the evolution of things is ridiculous, because, some things should be held sacred, like where you are, what you're eating at, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I see it a lot of times, like, where we as people Sure, we're evolving in other ways, but when it comes to like human compassion, decency, reaching out, social interaction, oh boy, did we not take a slippery slope back. It's so stupid. Because at the end of the day, our online lives are part of our regular lives. But the thing is, it doesn't have to dominate it. And you see, I met a lot of cool people online, in addition to meeting a lot of a-holes. And I had some people on this team that were a-holes. I had to cut them loose throughout this whole year. And I felt good about doing it. Because they were not practicing what J360 Radio was all about. Hell, they weren't even practicing what J360 TV was about. I had somebody not too long ago saying this. Oh, I didn't get the camera yet, Jay. 720p. I don't care about like what the aspect ratio of things are right now. I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be because it's a prototype. But needless to say, when I heard that stuff and I realized how far it was until J360 TV's debut in 2020, I pretty much knew that this was gonna be nothing but disappointment. So I was like, you know what? Cut it out. Slice it, throw them out, whatever. Don't look back. And the truth is, I don't care how lonely things can be. I don't care about that whole human need for, companionship from time to time. If people are not helping you grow, and this includes your family, or if people just sit there and they go ahead and they ego stroke themselves to death, and the thing is they haven't done anything to like build their empire in a way, you got to admit, at least I set things in stone when I build. I at least let everybody in J360 Productions and out there in the J360 Legion or in the Pod fam or in the indie filmmaker community know what I'm about to do. Just a little bit. The rest is all about what you can take and what you can see. But I've also noticed that when certain people come up and they're like, oh, I don't see what I think it's a good idea and stuff. It's like, it's an experiment anyway. Hell, January is R&D month for this company. And you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff come by, I guarantee it. But when I hear, like, certain people will not even try, it's disgusting. And then they got the nerve during around this time to tell you, oh, this is new year, new me. This is where I go ahead and I make changes. This is where I'm going to be different and everything is going to come my way. Yeah, okay. I've seen this commercial before. I've heard it many times from any other social clique out there, or say like those social media influencers. And I'm not trying to disrespect them in general. I mean, it's just they got a pretty good racket going for some of them, like might not even own the product they're trying to sell, but they're going to go ahead and tell you about it because it's interesting to them. And they'll go ahead and they'll let you know like, oh, it's a failsafe. Nothing's going to happen to you. But then you buy it. It turns out to be a giant piece of crap. It's little things like that, man. I'm sure by the time you go and take those amino acids, you'll probably look and see that you're not getting the immediate results. You'll probably not even take them anymore. So they'll just sit up there and stand and nobody's ever going to use them. Or that green tea you think that's going to help you slim down and, you're not using it to the ability. It's like deep down the inside, this whole new me that you're supposed to be building, you're not building it because you're not putting the time in to build it. Like, if anything, it's like building the foundation of a house. When it comes to a business, when it comes to virtually anything you want to do. I mean, you could go ahead and throw caution to the wind and do all these other great advancements of yours, which will probably last for maybe a day or even less. Like nowadays, it's even less with some people. It's like, 5 minutes? I just look at it, I'm like, it's not impossible for any of us out here to improve and become better people. It's just we go through it in a real stupid way. And the thing is that the best sort of scenario to handle goals like that is really just to write it down and keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Do it for you. Like, after a while when I started keeping journals and I started doing major advancements for me, like I knew I had to cut some people off. I knew I had to make some significant changes. And I really wanted this to become my life's work. And it's growing into it. So for most improved in 2019, I would say J360 Productions. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing, right? I'm sure some of y'all will probably be groaning and saying, of course he would do that. It's his company. You're damn right. And I'm going to tell you, every time that I am in contention for something, I will bet on myself first because I'm all I got. And after a while, wasn't that your whole damn point when it was like new year, new me? You know, it's like really when these messages come out here, we the people have to really decipher and think what exactly we're putting out there for people to understand. Because if not, we're no different than, say, the mainstream media who go out there and lead you into bum stairs at every turn. You know, or tell you that, yeah, this will be the ointment that can get rid of the blackheads on your forehead. Or this will be the ointment to make you look younger. Or if you go get plastic surgery done, everybody will like and love you instead of secretly mocking you and say, God, those titties are huge. And believe it or not, I hope that last one is fake, but I seriously doubt it. Because with the way people are and how jealous people can be, it's just phenomenal. Even. Like nowadays, like I remember when I said this on the last episode about people reviewing movies, like how everybody thinks that their word is law when it comes to the movies. It's really not. Like, so one of these shows recently just got 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, oh, well, once again, people are still flocking to Rotten Tomatoes and comicbook.com and all these other publications out here. Not to disrespect them entirely. I'm sure they got some credible people out there who have integrity. But you also got a lot of people out there who are thrill seekers and AKA they want to be controversial. Everybody wants to be controversial until they realize how much it costs. And when you sit there and you're so all up in it, overhyping this or saying this is what's going to happen in the next MCU movie, or like everybody's now talking about, oh yeah, the MCU movies are going to be inclusive. Everything's going to work out. We're all going to get firm representation. That's what matters. Really? Really? Let me tell you this, right? If that character that is supposed to be a representative of whatever sexual orientation, race, or yada, 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 and it, at worst, brings out a stereotype of a particular group, is that really what you wanted? Is that what you wanted to fight for? Something like that? Like when some people are like, oh yeah, well, most black people don't act like that. But then you find this one that does nothing but jive talk and drinks grape crush and then starts saying all sorts of slang. And then the police harass him and hassle him. And he lives in a one-parent household. And, you know, all that other stupid stuff that they're out there. You know, if that stereotype is being exemplified to this day, you know, at the best, it doesn't represent me because my father has always been there. And not only that, lived in the same house with my mom. And, you know... had that real different structured environment. When people sit there and they try to say, oh, well, you know, I just can't identify with you because your lifestyle's a lot different than mine. Something is wrong. Everybody's different. When you try to categorize people as a group, that's when people get pissed off. And not only that, if you really are going to work on equality, real equality is the part where people really don't care and really don't like each other sometimes, based off of certain situations. And I know that's kind of real talk right now, but we're at year's end, so I can go ahead and do that. Not like I'm not going to do it the next few episodes that are coming your way. But it's just like, you know, I don't care what these movies try to do. I mean, at the end of the day, like, everybody is so fascinated and obsessed with same-sex relationships, marriages, and everything. They don't realize that those kind of connections take about as much hard work as the heterosexual way. They don't realize that, right? You know what I mean? Because it's still two people stuck in a world where nobody's really happy or always talking about what you should spend money on constantly just to try to become number one in whatever sort of scenario or lottery is around you. Haven't you noticed? I know I have. And the thing about the rat racing is, first off, you got to identify that you're in a rat race. And two, see, some people, like that certain individual that I got rid of, you know, they are knee deep in that stuff. They're not trying to do any self-thinking of their own because, hey, that's work. I mean, why think to be independent when you can be part of a system that does everything for you, right? And you see, as we get further and further into the future, you start seeing, like, some of those cool things about the future, such as our self-tying shoes and maybe real hoverboards. We never got those yet, all right? We never got our floating hover car yet. We didn't get any of that stuff. But we did get quite a lot of people peeking into your business. social media going out of control from time to time. Anybody who's anybody that has a computer can possibly and potentially watch you and try to, extort you using whatever sort of information there is. Needless to say, I got nothing to hide. But the point is that it happens quite a lot. And the thing is, could it be happening to you right now? Who knows? But you see, to even have some sort of peace of mind or some sort of viable privacy, you have to pay for a VPN package, right? Right. And then you just start wondering, is the internet going to be as fast as it should be? Hell, our internet should be really fast, but certain telecom communication companies don't want to compete with each other, and they pretty much are like, if we keep them at a certain point and then cap them off, but at the same time, we let them know that we can make them faster, they can pay a little bit more money to us. You see, as they pay that money, when they pay that money, I can feel myself just jizzing all about it. I can feel it really good. It makes me really want to I can just feel the jizz coming. Things like that. That's what they do. Because, once again, you got to give a little to get a little in certain continuities. And speaking of quid pro quo, I look over at what's going on with the government from time to time. And if I really harken back to, over the last 10 years of this stuff, pretty much it's just high school bullying and playground rules and all that stuff going on over there. It's so stupid. Whereas, a lot of people will think if we as adults would come together and keep our eye on the social elite, maybe we got a strong chance of actually toppling them because we outnumber them. It's one way of how the Romans kept the slaves in charge. Oh, yeah, remember, there was slavery in Rome. And, the thing is, the slaves outnumber the nobles. But if they actually came together, instead of listening to whatever the nobles try to say, is the slaves are very important to us. And if you guys just stick around, eventually we'll give you freedom too. But you see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the goalposts a little bit so you'll never ever reach that. But guess what though? You're really important. Remember that. If they actually would have toppled and rallied against them, they could have really overthrown the nobles. But the thing about romantic struggles like that is, you always wonder, okay, what happens next? And you see, I could go into more historical facts, which I'm going to do this season. Not like I haven't gone into them anyway, but this season there's going to be a lot more history to it. You see, when you get right down to it, they do that stuff just to keep us shackled. If anything, if you keep a people of a nation distracted with so many first world problems and so many ways to just incapacitate them, you can go ahead and do what's done in the dark. And quite a lot of people on both Republican and Democratic sides are doing that. And then you can look over at some of the third parties and see that they have agendas too. So if you look at any sort of politicians out here, it's a dirty, shameful game. But, you always wonder, is it for our own good or is it because it's good for them to go ahead and get by? It's one of them kind of things you look at from time to time. Because I can't believe that I live in a time where police brutality and all this other stuff is on the rise and people are not handling it right. I can't believe I live in a time where a reality TV star is a president and people are not holding him accountable. So blinded by the cult of personality there that they just don't see what's going on around them. I can't believe that certain people who don't even know other people or the situation that's going on except for what is shown to them are sitting there thinking that this is a good way to solve things. My mom will go ahead and she'll praise the Me Too movement. I'm like, yeah, there's been some victories for the Me Too movement. But I've also noticed this. There's not been a documentary on Harvey Weinstein yet, and he's still out there free. And, R. Kelly's going to be going to jail, but there's a sequel to his documentary coming out, and it's what the hell happened to this point that actually warranted a sequel from these people? And then they went ahead and tried to destroy Michael Jackson's reputation. Again. And make it all worse, right? Even though that there are some directors out there who use casting couches, a lot of people are thinking this, hey, yeah, the females who are the fair sex, Don't cause problems for people at all. Don't make the most, or even the most rational man break out in hives, because guess what? Women don't do that sort of things, right? They don't bully. They don't lead people on. They don't lie to anyone, right? That's the thing to remember, because see, they're the fair sex. That's the point. We need to agree with everything they say and whatever they do, because, we can't hold them accountable, but they can hold us accountable for everything, because, hey, we're men. We're not smart. We just go and do a bunch of other stupid things, and we have them call us out on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be under their surveillance because we don't know how to lead ourselves, right? You see, if you believe any of what I just said, first off, you need to go splash some cold water on yourself. Get some sense. And another thing is this. You got to realize that the females around us, they're human too. And that means they do a lot of screwed up stuff in comparison to the males. We're all messed up. And the truth is that, will we ever get better? I don't know. Am I betting 2020 we will? Hell no. You know why? Because see, eons ago, whatever it takes, nowadays, you'll realize this. With every passing year, it will always have a proportionate amount equal or equivalent to the previous year's problems. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like that credit card bill that you keep seeing around, and you're like, why the hell is that still here? But little did you realize that all the expenditures in December are right there, and January is just sitting there waiting to collect. It's little things like that. Certain people's bills have transferred over. Now, will they go up? Will they go down? And the thing is this. Some people, they're fortunate enough and lucky to have it go down or stay stagnant. Whereas other people, if you're like me, us 99%ers out there, let us get forward to looking to some things being increased, because you know what? They need a little extra ends too. So somewhere along the line, somebody out there is not just robbing someone. Somebody is robbing and making a profit. And I'm not saying that the new year doesn't have any hopeful moments for us, but quite a lot of stupid stuff remains the same. And it's just like, how am I going to handle this one? Well, here's how you handle that, right? You can always start budgeting. You can always start putting in play the things that you said you was going to do. But I don't want to do that. I want to do new stuff. I want to do stuff to just compound and grow my interests up and just make that stuff huge. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll take care of it later. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a big bill. I'm going to put something on it. Yeah, I'm going to wait till April. That'll really take care of it because my taxes. Ooh, it's time for me to go and use my tax return on something great. Oh, man. Wait, where the hell you come from? I'm that bill you forgot to pay. I grew. Oh, yeah, you sure did, huh? You been eating up a lot of stuff. Yeah, your credit. Good luck getting that new house muffler. Things like that. So, certain things do happen and stuff. You got to be prepared for these things, but I just look at it and I see but don't worry about it though, because some of y'all out there doing new year, new you. So don't change that up. But just realize this: if you haven't handled certain things in the previous year that you were supposed to handle, you're gonna have a little bit of a layaway plan. You don't want no yearly layaway plan, because boy, you're gonna get hit in the dick or the crotch for that one. And when it goes right down to it, like what I was saying about the opposite sex, we all have that bad credit. We all have those problems. We all have that depressive state. We all have those things where we want to lash and speak out on things that are of injustice to us. And nowadays, instead of letting us do that, people want to hold us accountable for that. Oh, you had rage. You should calm down. No, I shouldn't. I should not calm down. I should speak my mind. I should protest. You know what I mean? Because protest is still a viable way of getting things done. If you don't like the way the system is, you complain about it. And it doesn't matter if you have a good case, bad case, or no case. You do that stuff. Remember, not my president. Remember all that stuff? Everybody's out there all in the cold saying, not my president, walking around and everything. Oh, man. And then you take a look at that, you're like, wow. You know what? I agree with these morons. They are so willing to do that stuff. I would never call that fool a president. And to this day, I don't see him as such. I don't have any respect for him. But what I want to say is this. I don't outright hate the guy. I just know that he could have been better than what he was. But one way or another, it's the same thing. He's a figurehead at best, because there's a lot more racist people out here. Hell, Hell, the one that you probably go golfing with's racist. He ain't gonna say it to your face. He's gonna say it behind your back. You don't really know. But at the same time, you don't want to look for that either. Because it will reveal itself from time to time. And if you want a real big display about that, look at the way they handled things over at NFL, right? You know, when you take a knee for the flag, then everybody's like, you need to stand for the flags. Disrespect to the flag. Ain't nobody worried about no damn flag right off, man. Because I'm telling you this, ain't no disrespect to the flag. It's a disrespect to police brutality and corporal punishment. And the thing is that when you take that knee, you take a knee for all those that have fell. But some other people out there, they ain't want to see it that way. So that instead of just saying, oh, well, it's not a part of the First Amendment rights and all these other things, they're going to sit right there and just try to chew you out for taking a knee. I took a knee too. But you see, at the end of the day, if you got a problem with me taking a knee, I'll go ahead and give you a knee. I'll give you a knee in the back, knee in the crotch, knee in the throat. Well, however you want this handled, because you know why? You're going to take a knee multiple ways more than I do. And like when I saw that, it's like all certain people, you know, I guess Roger Goodell, who doesn't ever want to be in controversy but puts himself in controversy, handled it as ridiculous as you would expect him to do. I'm going to leave it up to the NFL owners to decide whether whether their players can kneel or stand for the flag. And I mean, at the same time, it's like because a lot of people are misinformed or ill-informed, or they live by their own ways and views of patriotism, it's amazing to see how far that has gotten. You know? Whereas there are real criminals and real crooks out there who shield under the patriotism just to get away with illicit acts. And I speak that in terms of quite a lot that happened in these years here. And it's not right. You know? And you're probably wondering, hey, Jay, this is supposed to be a time for us to party and enjoy each other's company. I agree. But I'm also delving into certain things that we went through throughout the 2010s. And, you know, I'm not date tagging some of these things because they're still going on to this point. So it's like when you look at certain movies, it's like, I would say that my number one movie of this year would be more or less Godzilla, King of the Monsters, followed by Avengers Endgame. The Rise of Skywalker is not on that list because I think pretty much that the less I say about it right now, the better, because you guys are still working that out. So I'll go ahead and I'll delve into that in more serious detail later. Because there are people still making videos whether it was good or bad or not. It's like, no, not for me. Not right now. I do want to say that Most Improved should go. You know, I'm glad that the X-Men franchise has ended because Dark Phoenix sucked. There was so much potential for that, just like Apocalypse. It sucked. And it's like, thank God this is over. Biggest flop should either go to Cats or maybe Terminator Dark Fate. I would say Terminator Dark Fate, but then again, you should remember that the Charlie's Angels reboot, which nobody talks about anymore, that was out there too. And then you look at Cats, and you see the thing about Cats was, it was funny. I'm going to admit this. Like, even when that show was being broadcasted everywhere when it was performed on stage, it was a musical at best about cats in an alley. And then you would make a movie about it that not only freaked out people, but also made you think, oh my God, what is going on here? And the truth is that it was weird. Like, to this day, I really don't know the plot of it. But I also know that it was very inventive because it reminded me of Planet of the Apes with the makeup and everything. At least didn't it was real people in makeup. And they were having fun doing it looked like. Whereas the actual movie, it was CG, it was, you know, they tried to have a little plot in there, and what the hell is Idris Elba doing looking like that? But, you know, what can you say about it other than, like, it was ambitious, they went for it, and, well, you got what you got. I would like to say most misunderstood movie of 2019 would be The Lion King. A lot of people are sitting there saying that The Lion King remake wasn't good, or they would say that, you know, just stick to the animated version. But at the same time, this movie was hyped up at the same time after they were done doing The Jungle Book. I look at it and I'm like, okay, so you're not getting a lot of that emotion that you would think because they're, you know, photorealistic lions. But at the same time, it's like, that's what we wanted. We wanted to, you can hear that pain in the voice and stuff. There's something missing, yes. But it could have been a little bit more, maybe like on the crux of how the Sonic movie's looking, which, by the way, it's nice to see that Sonic's getting some good press now since the redesign, and the announcement of Baby Sonic on there. So that's pretty cool. Not gonna knock it. And speaking of Sonic, for the decade, I think that his turnout of games was okay. I mean, like, I wish that Sonic Forces could have been a lot better, but Sonic Mania just really showed that there's life in that franchise. So when that happened, it's pretty okay. Like, if they go that way with Sonic and they don't just listen to what other people say, like, even if they're using the CG stuff from, say, Sonic Generations, there's a chance there that these games are awesome and it can be dominant again, if ever. But that's strictly an opinion, and as you know, it's opinions. And then the whole thing about 2010's behavioral card is we got to get over ourselves when it comes to semantics. Hit some facts. Take some facts. When somebody throws an opinion, you can either engage it or you don't. But if it's a factual conversation and you got something there, talk about it. Ride it out a little. And then, in terms of certain things regarding your career, if you're having serious doubts about your career, here, write them down. Like really talk to the best person you can talk to about these things. And I know some of y'all don't trust yourselves because of anxieties, is yourself. Write that stuff down. Like, lay all that stuff out. Look at exactly what is holding you back, what you're scared of, and all those things. And really ask yourself the hard questions. And if you choose to go a certain way, or if you choose not to, well, you're already right because you know yourself. Because people are confusing, draining, and all that stuff. And you can talk to them when you're ready, but the most real conversations you need to have are with yourself. And the best way to answer those is by journaling. So that's what you got to work on in terms of like improvement and really thinking things out. And since I'm trying to be a CEO here, I need expert advice. I got to go ahead and I got to write them all down. Got to think it out. And speaking of which, of all the things that I've written down, we're going to have one hell of a ride in 2020. But as I look over at 2019, I got to say, get out! Beat it! Shoo! Much like 2018, because guess what? They were fun years for a time, but they have to go. Because 2020 is going to be all about, well, I hope I like to get those bills paid off right. Somebody's got to pay for this new equipment around here. And I'm just the guy crazy enough to do it because the bill's in my name. Ain't that about a... Anyway, I want you all to take it easy. Don't drink too much. Actually, go ahead and party a little bit, but just do it responsibly, all right? And just go ahead and listen to, keep supporting me because I need it. And I'm going to continue to support all of you out there. Shout outs to the whole podverse over there. Shout outs to any independent creators out there that are wanting to take, the year by storm. This is our chance to do these things. Don't let anybody knock you, tell you that you can't do it. But if you have those hard questions, ask yourself about it. For those of you out there that are awarding things right now, do what you got to do. Do you. I am not saying that you don't do it. I did it in an obtuse way. It just is what it is. I'm allowed to. It's my show, right? So, and then as we go into 2020, J360 Radio Live will be back. I'm going to try to go ahead and see about those of you that want to do a crossover or whatever. You guys just let me know. Email me j360productions@outlook.com and we can get some things started. Maybe I should go ahead and work on building that guest book too, because I'm not entirely done with things around here. But until then, Happy New Year's to all of you. And this is the J-Man signing off. Peace.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.